Welcome to the Right Time Podcast. The Right Time with Bomani Jones.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Right Time. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. You can send us a tweet at the 1-800-Flowers.com Twitter feed. That is at Bomani_Jones. Well, Game 7 tonight. 4, rather. Sorry. I said Game 7 because it's the last game. Right? So I just, you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's the last game. So I figure that, look, man, we try to do everything we can, bro. We try to do everything we can to maintain all the intrigue as this is broadcast on our fine family of networks. Don't get swept.
Hashtag don't get swept, Cleveland.
That's about it. That's about it. Don't get swept. Although one thing I do find to be interesting is LeBron is full on the look. I stopped worrying about what y'all were thinking about me in my 30s. Right? And, of course, I think very few people believe him when he says that, but I think he means it. Right? Like, I mean, I don't know if he's necessarily accurate about that, but I do think that he means it. I do think it's reached a point where he's like, look, there's nothing I can do to make people but so happy. There is. There's only but so much I can do to make people happy. So, really, all I can do out of here is just, hey, let's do the best we can, and then we go from there. That's what he's got. That being said, we coming for them. If they get swept, we are going to come for them. And it's interesting because one thing that LeBron has that very few other people can say is they've never lost in the first round. Right? Cleveland, I mean, since LeBron started going to the playoffs, I believe it was in 2006. He hasn't been on a team that lost in the first round. Now, he's been on teams that have been swept. Certainly, 2007 Spurs. Actually, that's the only one, right? 07 Spurs swept the Cavs. He hasn't been on a team that got swept other than that one. That, again, compared to Magic Johnson, whose teams, like I think the Lakers got swept in 81 in one of those 3-game series, so it doesn't really count. But the Lakers got swept in 83. The Lakers lost in 5 in 86. The Lakers got swept in 89. They lost in 5 in 1990. They lost in 5 in 1991. This happens to just about everybody. They wind up catching that broom. Now, LeBron's in that place where you're almost a victim of your own success in that this is the 8th time that his team has been to the NBA Finals. His team's record in NBA Finals will be 3-5 in all likelihood when all is said and done. What that allows us to do then is to focus on the 5 and to ignore the 8. Right? Like when you're at the stratus that LeBron's in, we don't give you any credit for getting there 8 years in a row. Actually, that's not true. We give you credit for getting there 8 years in a row until you lose, at which point we forget that we gave you credit for being there 8 years in a row. But again, here's LeBron. He ain't worried about us.
I don't know if you've been here for the last couple of years or heard me talk. I don't even really care. I had 101 drives last night. I didn't have 101, but you get the gist of it. Sorry, I didn't go for 102. So, but at the end of the day, I don't really get in. What is a critic? It doesn't matter. One of my favorite quotes when I really stopped caring about what people say is Theodore Roosevelt, "The man in the arena." So if you can read that, you'll see where I'm at right now in my life. It doesn't matter to me.
He out here quoting Teddy Roosevelt. Did that just happen? He just hit us with the Teddy Roosevelt? Oh, okay. Well, there it is. By the way, do you guys know the last time that a team forced Game 7 after being down 3-0? Wasn't that long ago. 1951. The Rochester Royals.
We were talking earlier in the show in regards to the Warriors, though, and winning the championship. Do you prefer to do it on the road in Cleveland or take an L tonight and win it back home in Golden State for Game 5?
Well, hold on. Here's another one we should put on the poll. If you are somebody, we got to figure out how to phrase it. But if you are a Cleveland Cavalier, do you even want to win this game when your only prize is to jump on the plane, fly 4.5 hours, and catch an L, and then fly 4.5 hours back after everybody on the plane just done caught an L? Is that what you want? It'll be a lot different than that flight they took to Las Vegas. A lot different than that flight that they took to Las Vegas last year after winning it all. So if you're the Cavs, would you rather lose at home or lose? Yeah, what's it? You rather lose at home and sleep in your own bed or lose on the road and have to fly? I'll come up with how to phrase that. We'll put it up during the commercial break. Because, Shannon, I'm sorry. Like, as much as I am the type of guy that wants to work hard and get it done, I am also a pragmatist. And a pragmatist does not want to get back on that plane just to go out to Oakland and catch that L.
Just ready to get it over with.
In the words of the great philosopher Richard Waters, for who? For what? Why are we doing this? Right? Like, I mean, and none of them are going to say it out loud, but we can't pretend like this is not a real 1-2-3 Cancun situation. Does it feel like a 1-2-3 Cancun situation to you? Because it feels like a 1-2-3 Cancun situation for me. You guys may remember that the Lakers were rumored one year and won a game like this to break the huddle with 1-2-3 Cancun. They say it was a joke. I say they should have been serious.
Personally speaking, man, my pride wouldn't allow me to just sit here and lie down and let these dudes, one, sweep us, and secondly, sweep us and clinching on our home court. I just can't do it. Like, I'm going to try. Yeah, I don't want to make this flight, and yes, it's going to stink to watch them celebrate at home with all their fans, but I don't want to see it on my own court. Don't want to do it. I'm sorry. What was Steph's quote about champagne in the locker room? I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, but
That's just me. Now I can't. You're not gonna disrespect. You're not gonna put your feet up on my brand new white couch that I just got because we Cleveland and we're not used to having anything anyway. So I got a brand new white couch. You're not just about to put your muddy boots on my white couch.
Here's the problem though, right? So if you lose it at home, they're gonna be doing the ceremony and stuff out there, but nobody gonna be clapping, right? Because it's all the home fans, not the other ones. But if you lose it in Oakland, you're going to try to go to the locker room to avoid it, but it'll be too loud because that place gets too loud, and you'll be forced to, like, basically do the same celebration with them. You want that? That's what you want?
I'll take that. It's Oakland. They're loud anyway. Is the stadium going to be loud for the whole game anyway? I'd rather that than that silence, that hush that will come over the crowd like it did in Game 3 after KD hit that jumper on LeBron.
Man, I don't know. This is tough, man. And it's real bad that legitimately it feels like the Cavs need to figure out. So how you want to lose, bro? Like what you think would be the best way to lose?
What you want to do? Take the stairs or take the window?
Right. That's what it is. I'll take the stairs. So which of those is the stairs? That's the question. You can leave down the stairs or you can leave out the window. And which one of them is the stairs? Is it losing at home in front of your seed, in front of your queen, or is it losing on the road in front of a bunch of people who are gonna be loud as hell? Which one are you taking? By the way, are those the quickest showers ever, by the way, after you lose it on the road? Like, yo, we got a plane to catch.
In and out, man. And for the guys that got to speak to the media afterwards, I sympathize with those guys. Like the star players, I get it, the whole make money, a lot of money, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
You just lost a championship, and now you got to speak to a bunch of people who's going to criticize you the entire offseason for how it is you lost that title.
Yeah, y'all might just have to fine me, bruh. Y'all might just have to take it out of my check.
I'm not going to the podium. We're going to do this right here and right now while I'm changing, get ready for this quick 2-minute shower.
Or hit it with this one. Both teams played hard. Both teams played hard. Both teams played hard. Both teams played hard, my man. Both teams played hard. God bless and good night.
No, I would take the sheet approach, or I would take the Shannon Penn approach and hit him with all the cliches. Yeah, we just came up a little bit short. Yeah, we don't care about moral victories. They're a great team. We just got to tip our hat to them. Yeah, turnovers really killed us. Yeah, they out-hustled us. They outworked us. I don't want to say they out-coached us, but they had a good strategy for working out. We just came out flat. You know, we beat ourselves.
You ain't going to get up there and talk about outwork. You'll be like, no, these guys worked as hard as they could. They left everything on the floor.
Right, and as LeBron says, and at the end of the day,
he's always, I love to see like the list he takes down at the end of every day, right? Because it sounds like at the end of the day, he got a list of things that are the case. I wonder if he compares them after the next day to be like, at the end of this day, it was this, but at the end of the day, it's this.
Definitely a bitter pill to swallow, man. It's going to be a long plane ride home if they have to lose it, if they win tonight and lose in Golden State. But you got to tip your hat to the other team. You got to give them credit. The best team won today. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
We can look. We gave it our all, and we can hold our heads high.
Yeah, I think they're going. I do expect to hear that from LeBron because he got all the cliches.
It was a couple plays, swing plays here or there that could have went either way, and they just capitalized on them.
Problem is they might lose by 20. So we were like, it's about 10 different plays. Yeah, that's what it could have been.
Yeah, early on with the turnovers, we really shot ourselves in the foot.
888-729-3776. That's our telephone number. Coming up next, they got new events in the Olympics, including one that we find very interesting. Find out what that is on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80.
The Right Time with Bomani Jones.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Right Time. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. Mark Stein of ESPN will join us next segment. Mark Stein will join us at 6:30 Eastern. Nothing makes a spring birthday or anniversary more magical than 1-800-Flowers.com. Right now, 1-800-Flowers is offering an exclusive 24 for 24 offer, 24 multicolored roses for $24. That's only $1 per rose. Go to 1-800-Flowers.com/ESPN. And that's the old soul song of the day. It's Tricky by Run DMC. And we were talking about this earlier. It is wild. You go back. This song's 31 years old. Yo, them dudes are rapping, man. And it reminds you that now I'm not going on to the young boys don't even got no good music. They got good music, but they not rapping like this. It's a little disappointing. 888-729-3776. That is our telephone number. Now we got a poll question for you. We're putting up on ESPN Radio. If you are a Cleveland Cavalier, would you rather win tonight, Game 4, in the name of pride, then jump on a plane for Game 5, lose there, have to watch them celebrate, and then have to catch another flight home? Or would you rather just lose and get swept? Would you rather get swept or win knowing that you got no chance to just jump on a plane and then go lose in a different locale? Check that out at the Twitter account at ESPN Radio. 888-729-3776. That is our telephone number. All right. Add new events to the Olympics. Oh, by the way, they also say they're going to cut down on the total number of Olympic athletes. They're going to cut it down by 285 people, which sounds to me like 285 people from those countries that we insult on the American broadcast and the Parade of Nations are probably the ones that are going to get cut out. It ain't going to be nobody from these money-making places. What are you, high? Anyway, among the events that they're adding for the 2020 games, you can start working out for this right now. For the 2020 Olympic Games in the summer, 3-on-3 basketball. You hear that? 3-on-3 basketball. I'm here for it. I'm totally here for it. You know why I'm here for it? I'm here for it under one condition, and it sounds like they're going to go along with this condition, but this condition matters, all right? No NBA players. No NBA players. I mean, we could have NBA players, right? And I guess in a way it could kind of be interesting in a way because them other countries, they can't compete 12-man teams, but they can get 3 dudes from their little country and make it work. Like, you think about this. You had a Cameroon. Cameroon could put Embiid, Luke, Ba Mute, and, somebody, and at least compete, right? They can at least compete. So, like, 3-on-3 kind of levels the playing field in that way. But, nah, I don't want NBA players. I don't want professional players. I want dudes who hoop. Like, that's what they are. Just dudes who hoop. Like some of them dudes on that little dunk contest that TNT shows, right? Maybe we get some of those cats. Or just dudes who hoop. Regular dudes. You know what I'm talking about. Regular dudes.
Dudes who are in their 30s that still wear basketball shorts under their jeans just in case.
That's right. Dudes who might not pass the background check. I just want dudes because I don't think there's anything better than when the Olympics have some event that involves them bringing in guys who aren't really Olympians in that way, right? Like, Shad, I don't know if you remember this when they first put the extreme, like the X Games stuff in the Olympics, right? That's how your man Shaun White got his Olympic medal and all that. Do you remember that in the first year of it, one of those Winter X dudes failed the drug test for marijuana? And they tried to take his medal. And he was like, oh, hold on there, buddy. When did we agree to stop smoking weed? Right? They're like, yo, y'all the ones that wanted us to come out here. We ain't never give a damn about no Olympics. When did we agree to that? And they gave him back his medal. They gave him back his medal. Why? Because they were like, okay, my bad. You right. And he's like, look, man, I ain't no Olympian. That's what I want from this. Just a bunch of dudes who don't really view this as that. They just like, yo, man, they say this is 3-on-3 tournament. I think we're going to show. I think we're going to sign up. I don't know. They say the last game's in Tokyo. Imagine that, Shannon. Hot sauce and the professor in the opening ceremony.
Just love to see how it would be officiated, though. You're going to have these regular rec league officials with these dudes, these street balling, the handles and the carries.
There's only one way to officiate this, and you know the only way there is to officiate this. The only way to officiate 3-on-3 in the Olympics is the way that you officiate 3-on-3 everywhere else. Call your own fouls. That's it. That's what we need. We need people who don't speak the same language arguing about calls. And you know what? I bet they're going to understand each other clearly, even though they don't speak the same language.
I know, look, and all I know is next time that happens to me, you can respect my call, right?
Right.
You know what? Shoot it.
Shoot it right there. Do it down. Do it down. No. Step on back to the 3. No. Go ahead. Step on back to the 3. Okay. All right, cool. They get the ball. Like,
how many ball don't lies you think they'll be screaming out?
In how many languages? Like, that's the thing about it. Ball don't lie in how many languages? No, we need these cats out here calling their own fouls. Also, will it be played indoors or outdoors? That's an important distinction, right? Because, I mean, like beach volleyball, they play it on the beach. I feel like they should play this outdoor because this 3-on-3 thing is really more about outdoor. And then that's cool because you know what that eliminates? Cats out here trying to take charges. That's what that eliminates. You might take a charge on that shining wood that you can slide across. Hey, bro, anybody talking about taking no charges on that concrete?
On the question of the type of players, if we don't want NBA players, what about former NBA players? I mean, we got this big 3 going down now.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind sending Kenyon Martin to represent America. Right, like there's certainly something to that, but no, man, I want this to be about the people. The Olympics have sold out already to commercialism. I want to make Olympians out of people who never thought that they could be Olympians before. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we need to do. That's exactly how we need to play.
So just to think, all those years spent in those Hoop It Up tournaments,
that's right,
prepared you to be an Olympian.
That's what Hoop It Up needs to turn into. No, I don't even know if they still do Hoop It Up, but what Hoop It Up needs to turn into is the Olympic trials. Think about how much more interesting a Hoop It Up tournament would be if you knew it was the Olympic trials. And imagine how hard cats would be fighting just to get to the Olympics. Because you know who'd be out there in the 3-on-3 the way I imagine it? If they had this 4 years ago, you know who I think would have made the American team? Jonathan Simmons. Because I want us to send 3 of America's finest can't-go-back all-stars for this 3-on-3 tournament. That's right. They can't go back so much. They might go to Tokyo and be like, no, I ain't catching the flight back. I'm here. Why? I can't go back. I can't. All right, 888-729-3776. That's our telephone number. Coming up next. All right, we think the Cavs are going to lose this series. We're looking to the future of their roster with Mark Stein on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80. The weather is getting warmer. Summer is almost here. Now it's time to get Sax underwear. Whether you're traveling, working out, or just trying to get through the heat, Sax has what you need to stay comfortable with total support. These are like no other brand you've tried. In fact, an editor from Men's Health said called Sax life-changing after wearing the product. Sax underwear is designed for guys to move around freely in total comfort. Every pair has moisture-wicking benefits in their patented ballpark pouch. Try Sax underwear or give the man in your life life-changing underwear for Father's Day. Go to saxunderwear.com. That's SAXX underwear.com to find a location near you.
The Right Time with Bomani Jones.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Right Time. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. All guests join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Just like our next guest, he's a part of tonight's ESPN Radio broadcast from Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Pregame begins at 8 p.m. Eastern. His name is Mark Stein. So, Mark, what have you gotten in reporting on the vibe coming off the Cavs, given that most of us feel like this is kind of walking the plank?
Man, I think you could get the vibe if you watched any of LeBron's off-day news conference. It definitely had a farewell to the season feel, I would say. Unfortunately, I'm not suggesting that the Cavs are surrendering. I just think spirit-wise, LeBron is widely billed as the smartest player in the league, and I think he's already done the math and knows, can they win 4 games in a row? Can they beat this team 4 times in a row? No, he knows they can't. And so I'm sure they're going to try to hit him with an early haymaker. But if things don't go well, it's hard for me to imagine that the Cavs spirit hasn't been broken by what happened the other night. Because let's face it, I mean, the much smarter mathematicians than you and I computed when the Cavs go up 6 late in that game. It was a 98+% probability that the Cavs win that game, but they didn't win, and they have to live with it now. And I think they know deep down, can LeBron and Kyrie play better than that? That is the way this team plays. They rely heavily on those two guys, and I think they're reluctant realists in this scenario. Something crazy is going to have to happen for this thing not to end tonight, unfortunately.
All right, talking to Mark Stein of ESPN Radio on the right time. And isn't one thing that's kind of weird about that is that we know that players have a significant level of pride, and you think that the pride thing kicks in about not wanting to be swept, except guys always seem to be swept. So on the Warriors side, how much of a picture do you get that they just want to end this right now?
They want to end it badly. And how many times have you heard in the last 24 hours, nothing's harder than a closeout game? Well, look at the Warriors' 3 closeout games to this point. Again, none of those were against Cleveland. None of those were against LeBron James. But they have put the hammer down when the opportunity was there. And they are super hungry. And look, they're just fresher. Cleveland is an older team that's asking its 2 main guys to do a ton more than what Golden State is asking of its main twosome. If you look at the Sport View data in Game 3, LeBron and Kyrie combined for roughly 850 dribbles of the basketball. Stephen Curry and Kevin Durant combined for about 400. They're just they're being asked to do a lot less. The game is so much easier for those two with the way Golden State plays and the amount of help those guys get from Draymond Green and Klay Thompson and a much better bench. And the toll, I mean, it's the shortest turnaround in the series now. So, I mean, to ask LeBron and Kyrie to match what they did the other night to keep this series going, I mean, it's a lot to ask.
All right, talking to Mark Stein of ESPN on the right time. Now, most of the talk about MVP for this series is centered around Kevin Durant. I guess most of the talk in this series has really been Kevin Durant and LeBron James. Are we selling short how good Steph Curry has been?
Yeah, I think this will go down, assuming he has a strong Game 4 and assuming this thing ends. I think it's going to go down as one of the great underappreciated final series, if there is such a category. I mean, the guy's averaging a near triple-double. He is dominating on the boards. And, yeah, you could say, okay, it's a small sample size, it's 3 games. But, being around the Warriors, they've really stressed the importance of gang rebounding and the importance of Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson coming up with boards. And they've always felt like Steph is a sneaky good rebounder, especially for his size. So that is a point of emphasis. It's not just, I think, a 3-game fluke. I mean, it's something that the Golden State guards have really focused on because they remember how effective Tristan Thompson was last year, and team rebounding has been such a concern for Golden State. So, he has had a fantastic series for a guy who's had to hear so much about how his first 2 trips to the finals he didn't play well. He has been sensational. And because of what Durant is doing, we're really not talking about it enough.
All right, we're talking to Mark Stein on the right time on ESPN Radio. Now, with this series almost being over, have you already turned your mind toward what the Cavs need to think about in the offseason?
Well, I'm certainly thinking about it. I'm certainly not alone. The problem is it's just not easy. The options are not, it's not going to be easy to address the upgrades that they need. They need 2-way players. My buddy Chris Broussard, our old colleague, I think he's the first person I heard kind of throwing out they should go get Paul George scenario. Yeah, go get Paul George if you can. But what do the Cavs have that's so appealing that Indiana is going to jump and take it? I mean, would an offer built around Kevin Love would that interest interest the Indiana Pacers? I'm not so sure. This isn't a team that's replete with draft picks either to sweeten trades. So to get the kind of player they need is not going to be easy. Now, could they revisit Kevin Love for Carmelo Anthony? Yes. Does Carmelo Anthony address the concerns and the issues that the Golden State Warriors pose if you're comparing the Cavs and the Warriors? No. Now, I think the good news for Cleveland, the rumbles have already started. Hey, LeBron's going to leave. I don't know that LeBron is in a huge rush to leave. Staying in the Eastern Conference, I mean, the Cavs were so dominant in the first 3 rounds. I think we've always called it the Eastern Conference. I mean, it's the E League right now. You've got the D League and you've got the E League. I mean, why would you leave the East when you can pretty much write yourself into the finals? If I'm LeBron, I'd rather stay in the East and try to upgrade the team I'm on as opposed to moving west where you got to get through the Warriors just to get to the finals. But there is nothing easy in the Cavs' future about how to improve this team.
Well, you mentioned Kevin Love. Would you consider moving Kyrie Irving?
That's an interesting one. It's funny, in our radio production meeting today, getting ready for tonight's broadcast, we were debating that because we know Chris Paul and LeBron James are as close as two players on opposite team on rival teams could be. These guys would love to play together. If you're the Cavs, do you explore a Kyrie Irving for Chris Paul scenario? Obviously, there would have to be other pieces involved, but do you at least look at it? I mean, to me, Kyrie Irving is such a great one-on-one player and such a devastating offensive player. Would Chris Paul at 32 really change? Would he really change the Cavs' ceiling? I mean, I think we could have a good debate about it. Maybe he would. I mean, he's certainly a two-way player, and that's certainly what Cleveland needs. But I'm not so sure that in itself would close the gap. I mean, we're looking at a potential sweep gap here. So I guess it depends on what you could get for Kyrie Irving. If they could get multiple pieces from someone else to address that, I guess they'd have to look at it. I mean, to keep LeBron James, you pretty much have to be open to anything.
All right, we're talking to Mark Stein on the Right Time on ESPN Radio. Now, with the Warriors on the other side, I know Andre Iguodala is going to be a free agent in the offseason, but, I mean, what's there to do when you already have Kevin Durant?
Just try to keep everybody. That's really the goal, and Ramona Shelburne and Chris Haynes, our colleagues, they had the story at the start of the finals basically saying that based on what they're hearing, Kevin Durant is willing to take a little bit less than the max to give Golden State the ability to retain Iguodala and Livingston, and that's two big pieces. You could say, okay, those guys are getting older. What's the urgency to keep them? But those are two big parts of the Warriors' fabric, and their bench is outstanding. And Andre Iguodala plays a huge role behind the scenes as well. I mean, you don't as a reserve end up at the Kevin Durant recruiting meeting if you're not a big part of a franchise. So I think it's important to Golden State to keep those guys. But really, I mean, their core four is just so good, and they're all in their primes, and you have to think they're only going to get better. I mean, certainly as you get older, you lose a little athleticism, but what Kevin Durant and Stephen Curry are adding in terms of smarts, in know-how. This series, the game looks so easy for Kevin Durant right now. It looks easier than it's ever been for him, and I think that's only going to continue as he really moves into his prime years.
All right, Mark Stein, the Game 4 broadcast on ESPN Radio. He'll be a part of it. Pre-game coverage begins at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thanks so much, my man. I appreciate it.
Sounds good, buddy.
All right, now tune in for Game 4 tonight as LeBron and the Cavs host Durant and the Warriors, presented by GNC. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. Eastern on most ESPN radio stations.
The Right Time with Bomani Jones. We know you can't be on top of all the news and information of the day. Now, if you haven't heard.
All right, we have a stave situation going on tonight in the NBA Finals, Game 4, Cavs and Warriors. And if you haven't heard, here's Bomani Jones earlier today discussing Kevin Durant's decision to join the Warriors and why it really wasn't that difficult at all.
Why are people under this mistaken impression that the only reason Kevin Durant would go to the Warriors would be that they didn't win a championship, but that if they had won a championship, then Kevin Durant is going to be like, nah, man, I'm going to just stay in Oklahoma City. Bro, they started trying to get Kevin Durant to come there way sooner than that. When they were running through the league, when their record is like 50-3 or whatever it was, they were already talking to Kevin Durant about coming to Oakland. Like, that had been the plan from the jump. What do you think? Kevin Durant's like, nah, man, I was going to come there, man, but y'all too good now. No, I can't do that. Now, I do think it would have been different if Kevin Durant and the Thunder had beaten the Warriors and then he went to the Warriors. Now, I do think that maybe that would have been a little bit difficult for him to pull off, right? I think that might have been a little more than he was willing to do. But I'm not coming because the Warriors won the championship? Psh, please. That's a great reason to show up. And what you think? You think if the Warriors won the championship, that they were going to be like, no, guys, we're going to stick with Harrison Barnes. Do you guys think that was what was going to happen? Like, do you think they were going to say, hey, man, we won a championship and went 7 games with the Cavs, but, you can't give up on a guy like Harrison Barnes. Not even for Kevin Durant. Hell no, man. They was going to get the best guy that they could.
All right, the Cavs obviously won it last year, and they decided to bring everyone back, got the band back together or what have you. Hypothetically speaking, if Cavs would have lost last year, do you think we would have had this same Cavs team this year?
No, there's no chance, right? Because the clock was on LeBron. And, they're like, look, we got to win this for Cleveland, whatever it is. Nah, Kevin Love would have been out of there, bro. I don't know what they would have gotten back, but I think they would have refashioned the team more significantly had they won a championship, and they probably needed to refashion it a little bit more. One thing about sports is one of those rare places where you get to the top and you have a tendency to be like, okay, we're good. Like, those cutthroat companies tend to be like, we're at the top. Now let's get topper.
Isn't the goal to stay at the top and do whatever you can
and they went and got topper.
To stay there.
They went and got topper.
All right, so, of course, Cleveland's trying to avoid having the Warriors win it on their home court like they did 2 years ago. So our question, we had a couple polls today on the ESPN Radio Twitter account, and the first was, how would you rather win a championship if you're the Warriors, in front of your adoring fans or on the road in front of all the haters? 60%, only 60% said they'd rather win it at home.
60%.
60% said they'd rather win it at home. 40% said, no, we want to win it on the road.
Oh, I totally want to win it at home. I'm surprised so many people are that spiteful.
Wait a minute, wait. You had me confused. I thought you wanted to win it on the road. Unless it was Cleveland. You had me under the impression that if it was Game 7 in, say, Miami, that you were good winning it on the road.
No, I was saying that you'd rather win it on the road if you were the Mavericks because you would be in Miami to kick it.
All right, and our other Twitter poll that was posted asked the question, if you're the Cavs, would you rather lose and sleep in your own bed or fly cross country to take that Game 5 loss? 59% of the people said they want to win Game 4 and take that cross country flight and take that L in Game 5.
I mean, I feel where y'all are coming from on pride because I'm a man that's got pride himself, but man, that flight back gonna stink. Unless y'all decide on the way in, fellas, we know we're not gonna win. Might as well just enjoy yourselves. Like, you got to decide that on the way in the door. Otherwise, it's just gonna be miserable.
All right, and it really, really stinks. Cleveland's just not having a great day at all. So apparently, the Indians are playing tonight, right? And Cleveland Brown, well, at the time, Cleveland Brown safety Tyvis Powell was scheduled to throw out the first pitch of the game. How nice, right? Cleveland Brown player throwing out the first pitch of the game. Only problem, Tyvis Powell was cut today.
Are you serious?
Yeah. On the same day that he was scheduled to throw out the first pitch, he gets cut.
They couldn't cut him tomorrow. Like, they couldn't look into that. Like, somebody at the Browns has got to be like, all right, man, we messed up.
How did no one know that that's what he was scheduled to do?
And do the Indians need to now start calling over and be like, hey, guys, can you guys let us know before you cut somebody? Or, like, do we need to call over now to be like, hey, we got this guy throwing out the first pitch tomorrow. You guys aren't going to release him. Oh, you might. Okay, well, can we get Joe Thomas? Like, I feel like that's what they need to be. Like, Joe Thomas, the only guy you could be sure of in Cleveland that's guaranteed to have a job. Or you could have Brock Osweiler. The problem is somebody in the front row might get hit in the face with a baseball. Be sure to make that nets up there before you have Brock Osweiler throw out the first pitch. But, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us here on The Right Time. We do this every weekday, 4 p.m. Eastern. Shannon, Nuno, Steven, thanks so much. Jalen Jacoby coming up next, followed by Game 4 of the NBA Finals.
Thanks for listening to The Right Time podcast. Please come back Monday for more. And don't forget to listen to The Right Time with Bomani Jones from 4 p.m. to 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Okay, Kevin, for the grand prize of $1 million, what color is the White House?
I know this.
5 seconds.
Oh, switching to Geico could save you a bunch of money on car insurance?
Okay. Judges? That's true, Kevin. They'll allow it. Congratulations. You're a winner.
Woo!
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.